Nice to meet you all. My name is Ashton PTO. I'm new to the town, May of this year, new to the school system, just a month or so now, and I have a question for our representative. As I'm learning about the school system, it seems to me that everybody here is passionate about the issues that the town has faced and the system has faced, yet that is, for me, a reason to look for someone that brings change in newcomer, right? And Erica, you mentioned that you were not originally from Rhode Island, you've been in the town for, I think, 5 years, and that you were once a teacher and that you've seen systems work well, and that you believe that some of those things could be applied here. That sounds exciting, but I don't know what good things you've seen and which of those you'd like to introduce here. Could you comment?
I would say that the thing that first comes to mind is getting a new leader at for the school department, and without speaking in code, I'm referring to the superintendent. Certainly, I think that right now the superintendent is not working for this community. I think that there is a crisis of morale with teachers, with families, and I also think that you just can't really point to anything positive that's happening with her at the moment. So moving on from that, and one of the things is that strong leadership, I think, is crucial, and I have worked under superintendents where that is what they had, and it was in their ability to admit problems. One I worked for used to say, if we have a problem, let's hang a sign on it. I think that's the first thing that has to happen in Cumberland, is we need to start admitting the fact that we have problems and then start working together to fix them. I also think that being willing to, there's a saying that says good leaders take less of the credit and more of the blame than they deserve. And certainly that is not something that we've seen here. So, and another thing is there's so much talent and expertise in this community, and I think that inviting those people to the table to share their knowledge and to help solve problems is certainly lacking at this time. There is not a collaborative feeling in the community, and I think that by bringing in a new leader and a dynamic, charismatic thinker, that think outside the box leader, I think that from there we'll be able to really turn things around. Attracting talent is key. We need dynamic, talented, enthusiastic, charismatic people that have the energy to say, yes, you guys have a big problem, but we can fix it. And I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't think that we could fix it.
I'd like to weigh in on what she said too. It's like, I think too long they hired caretakers. For way too long, the superintendents were a caretaker. They didn't want anyone to rock the boat. They didn't want any new programs. But what has happened under the present leadership is that not only have we lost some of the good programs that we haven't introduced any new programs, and we've also lost certain outside grant money that I would go to meetings and would say, all right, we have this grant, and then nothing would come of it. Have $78,000 was just sitting there, and we never used it, so it went back to the government. So things like that, there was never any enthusiasm for anything. It was just like, oh, here's another meeting, here's what we're going to do, blah, 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 and then it just got shoved and moved. So there wasn't anything that made anybody excited about anything. So I agree. I think that we just need someone who is very charismatic and who wants to lead this place in a different direction, in a positive way, is not afraid to hire people who say, no, I disagree with you.
Thank you.
Well, I have to say, and echo what everyone has said. I think one of the issues we've struggled with here is building consensus. And you can see we've struggled with consensus with regard to the elementary proposal, with regard to consensus on what does the school district really want to be known for? Why do parents want to come here? Is it our athletics program? Is it our science program? Is it our arts program? And so often there isn't a chair for a parent at the table. We need to be certain that we can work together to find the direction we need to go, because if it's driven solely on budget, and I think the funding formula, once this kind of gets into gear, will certainly help with that. I think the big discussion is, where does Cumberland want to be in 5 years? As a taxpayer, as a parent, as an administrator, as a teacher. where do we want to go? I think we've reestablished some of the baseline for our school programs by bringing in groups like the Dana Center and the Dunn. It's been helpful for us. We've looked at physics first for the high school. That's, you know, if you read about some other districts in the state that are pleased with their science scores, they relate it to physics first. So we're trying to initiate programs in town, but I think we need to be able to say, how can we do it with consensus? And I think that's really been something that's been missing for a while.
Can I just ask a follow-up question, very briefly? Haven't you been in a position the last so many years to make some of those changes?
Well, with regard to building consensus, or with regard to the program changes at the schools?
Either.
Either. Some of the program changes at the schools have included bringing a language arts curriculum into the elementary grades. That was done through the work with the Dunhill, which was part of Hasbro's Learning Institution. That's part one. It absolutely needed to address that. Part two, we've worked with the Dana Center, which is through the University of Texas at Austin, which is a grant-funded program that works with Lincoln, Woonsocket, and Cumberland to address the gaps and deficiencies in our math curriculum. So all the way up. It's working on scoping, sequence, and where the gaps are and how you supplement for that. So that's absolutely been addressed. And certainly not finished. It is a work in progress, but it's been over the last 3 years for reading and the last year, I believe, year plus for math. We worked on eliminating tracking at the middle level so that you were not in the core subject area, which was your weakest subject. You were leveled. I have 2 minutes again, right? You were leveled. So if you were strong in math and weak in reading, you were tracked in your lowest subject. So you were in the lowest reading group and the lowest math group. So now it's differentiated according to math, and it is heterogeneously grouped in the other subjects. I think we can do a better job at that, but it is a step in the right direction. And lastly, at the high school level, there were 5 academic levels. We shrunk it down to 4 based on the requirements for the NEAS&C and RIDE's diploma system. And the kids at the lowest level, the emphasis is on skills building. There's a lot of redevelopment of that work that goes into it. They take extra classes after school now. That was no longer there. So certainly we are working to make changes with regard to that. And as far as the consensus, I think there's been efforts that have been attempted. I don't think they've worked well. And I do think we need to make some improvement in that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to pass this on to Annie if she wanted to comment because you missed your turn in the group. Did you have a comment at any point?
No.
You got bypassed with a secondary question, so. Okay.
I'm going to ask a question that's, can I answer, Sebastian, please?
Yep.
Before we move on. We need to stop cutting programs. We've cut industrial arts at the high school, we've cut the home ec at the middle schools now. We're not looking for grant money to help us supplement what's going on here. You know, I look down the street and I see the mayoral academy's got 2 teachers in every classroom. They're in classes from 7:30 till 4, they're into the school till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They got music, they've got chess, they've got enrichment programs. They're all being cut out of our system. We have a mayor that's working against us, I believe, personally. I was all in favor when he said, we're going to start a new school in town because it's the unions involved. You know, I want to be free of them, but it's not going to cost the taxpayers of the town of Cumberland any money whatsoever. Now it's costing us a lot of money that's taken it out of our children here for him. He doesn't come to the school committee meetings. He doesn't attend them whatsoever. And he's got his crew, a group of people down there that are getting grant money going for him. And we need to put the programs back in the school system that worked for years. When I was a 5th grader, I got moved up in math and down in math. Why is that so new in Cumberland these days? You know, I was good in math, but I wasn't great in this program. You know, and that's 45 years ago, whatever it is, 40 years ago. You know, that's nothing new. I mean, you know, it's just that this is the way we did it for years. You know, we did this. My daughter goes to school, one of my daughters goes to school in Florida. They keep on moving her up and down in math because of what she's doing in her grades. Programs need to be put back, and we just can't say yes every time every proposal is put in front of the school committee. I believe every proposal that the school superintendent has should go to committee first before it gets put out into the public and scare all of us of what she wants to do, because we're afraid because they've always said yes. Okay? Thank you.